I think I need some spiritual healing after reading this. This month gave us a pretty unique pairing as Friends Forever 31 put Rainbow Dash and Little Strongheart in the spotlight. When the buffalo's growing season is halted by a relentless blizzard, they call on Dash to help Strongheart complete a ritual to clear the harsh weather. So what's good? Just like Katie Cook did in last year's holiday special, Tony Fleek serves double duty as both the writer and the main artist. The majority of the pages are done in his usual art style with colors by Heather Breckel, while pages 5 through 9 are done by him and Sarah Richard, who normally does some of the alternate covers for the comics. It's great to see her work actually featured in a story, and using it as a way to present the legend of the Rainbow Crow was a good call, as the painterly style of her work lends itself to that kind of presentation. With an artist taking the helm as writer, you can tell that the story was written with the imagery in mind, more so than a usual comic, and it takes full advantage of the buffalo's mysticism and the Rainbow Crow's magic to create some amazing panels. The humor had me chuckling a bit too, and I really like the way Strongheart is characterized here. Usually, when you have a character that's rooted in tradition, it's usually because they genuinely believe that it's the best way to do things, and they stubbornly refuse to make any compromises. But Strongheart doesn't follow that character trope. She knows that there are more modern and simple ways to accomplish things, and she was willing to use them when needed. But she and the other buffalo appreciate their culture and history, and pay respects to their ancestors by honoring their ways. Their loyalty to their traditions comes from preference rather than ignorance. So what's not so good? Like I said, this comic was written with the imagery in mind, but some of that comes at the expense of the actual storytelling, the main victim being the pacing. The story had a good introduction, but once we get into the legend of the Rainbow Crow, the pace slows down considerably, and once it's over, the second half just blows by. When Dash finally meets the Rainbow Crow, the character who was built up throughout most of the first half, the meeting ends just as quickly as it started. They try to introduce a last-minute hurdle when Dash loses the tribute offering, but then the crow asks for a lock of her mane instead. So if that sudden problem was that easy to fix, then what was the point of having it in the first place? The whole scene ends up being pretty anticlimactic, and the payoff of seeing the crow ends up not being worth the build-up she got in the beginning. I think that part of the reason why the second half seems so fast is that this part of the story tries to do too many things at once in the little time that it had. The first half had one focus, to build up the Rainbow Crow. But then what follows is some quick mishaps with Dash, a fight between her and Strongheart that barely lasts a page, after which they make up instantly, the aforementioned meeting with the crow, and then the ending. All of these things happen in quick succession, and none of them are given the time to sink in because it has to fit one issue. The only part in the second half that stuck with me is Strongheart's line about her connection to her past. If they had ditched the shoehorn lesson and instead focused on the adventure as well as this aspect of Strongheart's character, I feel that the story would have been stronger. As for minor gripes that I have, Rainbow comes off as a bit weird in the first half. By now we're all used to her being oblivious and, let's be honest, somewhat ignorant, but in the first half of the story she just seems a bit dumb. Overall, while I did find some enjoyable moments in Friends Forever 31, it's not an issue that I go back to. It has a lot of interesting ideas and beautiful imagery, but it's hampered by all the other stuff that got crammed in along with it. Next month, Daring Do will be sharing her next adventure with Fluttershy. So what did you think of Friends Forever 31? Swarm that comment section below or bug me on social media, and consider supporting me through Patreon or PayPal art commissions. Until next time, keep it sketchy, folks.